Good afternoon again, everybody. Thanks for staying with us on our live stream today. Wanted to give you a quick update. Now, we did see some activity in the pre-dawn hours, a little bit of a preview, and then since then we've kind of gotten a break from the actual active weather. But now, as you can see on our live radar, we're starting to see it move back in. And here is one little bit of good news. I'm going to say good news. It's still not ideal. You still don't want to be driving in it, but we are seeing those purple shadings on our radar, which indicate sleet, which is a little bit better than freezing rain, but still, it is still ice. I cannot stress that enough. Even though it is sleet, and that is the better case scenario, you still don't want to be out driving in it because it is still ice. I do want to point out, too, a couple of areas up towards Stephenville, Comanche, seeing a little bit of that sleet give way to snow. So, again, something nice to look at in those areas, but again, stay indoors if you can. We've seen traffic cams all morning. The roads are mostly evacuated, just the isolated vehicle here or there, and that's exactly what we want to see. We want to see everybody staying at home if they can. A bulk of the activity we're seeing right now in central Texas is from Gatesville back down towards Lampasas, Goldthwaite as well there. Seeing a little bit of that sleet falling right now. And again, just kind of a light, steady sleeting across the area, nothing super heavy at the moment. We are seeing a little bit more activity up in the DFW Metroplex, Dallas County, Tarrant County, all the way up into Denton and Collin counties as well. And so with that, again, if you have family up north, and just make sure they're staying safe. And we've seen a few power outages from the DFW Metroplex as well. So with all that being said, let's take a look down to the south here. If you're in the Brazos Valley, notice you're still seeing those green returns on our radar, which means it's still above freezing in the Brazos Valley, and we're still seeing that rainfall as just liquid rain. That is good news, but again, it will fall below freezing at some point today, and when that happens, of course, that will transition to that freezing rain and that sleet mix. Now, even though we're seeing sleet right now, does not mean we're done with the freezing rain. Again, we can kind of see those temperatures fluctuate in the atmosphere a little bit, and when that happens, we can kind of see that go back and forth between freezing rain and sleet. Take a look at up to the north here, Wichita Falls, up I-49 there, up towards Oklahoma City, and that area, I-44, not I-49, I-44 from Wichita Falls up to Oklahoma City, that area getting a little bit of snow back towards the South Plains there, Lubbock, and up towards Amarillo as well. So that's kind of what we're seeing right now. What do the temperatures look like here in central Texas? Well, we're at 19 from Meridian to Hamilton, Goldthwaite. The rest of us kind of hanging out in the middle 20s right now, except the Brazos Valley, where, like I said, it's still just a little bit warmer right now, still at about 36, so above freezing, so you're going to continue to see that rainfall as liquid rain. That could change, again, just within the next couple of hours as we continue to see that cold air filter in. Now, we talk a lot about the temperature changes at the surface, but when we start talking about what kind of precipitation we're going to get, it's not just our surface temperatures that we have to worry about. So what I'm going to show you here, this is a vertical atmospheric sounding. So twice a day, each of our National Weather Service offices launches 2 balloons into the atmosphere. And when they do that, they get this vertical profile of the atmosphere. I know there's a lot going on here. And again, as the Mythbusters used to say, science content incoming here. We're going to talk about this real quick. So this is basically what the atmosphere looks like from the ground all the way up. And you see these diagonal lines, these blue lines, these are what are called isotherms. Those are lines of constant temperature. We call them isotherms that's just what we call them. But again, they just represent one single temperature all the way up through the atmosphere. So this is the 32-degree isotherm. This is the freezing mark. So again, when we talk about what kind of precipitation we're going to get, if you want snow, you have to be below freezing from the surface all the way up through the clouds. And as you can see here, anything on this side of this blue line is above freezing. Anything on that side of the blue line is below freezing. So at the surface this morning, this was at 6 a.m., they took their sounding. It was 26 degrees at the surface, but then you get about 3,500, 3,600 feet up in the air, and it jumps back above freezing. We get this little upper level wind there that kind of warms the atmosphere at that level. And so what happens is the snow starts up here, falls through this warm layer, and what happens is it melts. And so you don't have snow anymore. At this point, you have liquid water. Problem is, it gets close to the surface, temperatures fall back below freezing, and near the surface, that rain then freezes on contact. It's falling as water, but then freezes to the surface. Now, the smaller you can make this little gap of above freezing temperatures, the more likely you are to get sleet. But you will not get snow until everything is behind that blue line. So because of that, that's why we get the freezing rain and the sleet. Again, if you have cold air aloft and warm air all the way to the surface, you're going to get rain. If you have cold air aloft and then you have this very deep layer of warm air, you're going to get freezing rain. You shrink that layer of warm air, And that's how you can get sleet, and then again, you don't get snow until it's below freezing from the cloud all the way to the ground. So it's not just about the surface, it's about the vertical profile of the atmosphere, and because of that, that's why this winter weather, especially in the south, is so hard to predict. So let's get to it. Our weather impact alert continues through Tuesday morning. We added Monday afternoon because it doesn't look like we're going to get above freezing on Monday, and that freezing rain and sleet continues to be likely through the rest of today into tonight. Again, we have those very cold temperatures we'll be talking about as well. Make sure you're paying attention. Make sure you remember the 4 Ps: pets, pipes, plants, and people. Check on the people around you. Make sure your outdoor faucets are covered. Make sure there's a sink running in the house somewhere to keep the water moving through the pipes. Again, I told this story a little bit earlier. I let my dogs out this morning for about a minute and a half. That was about as long as I was comfortable with. Don't let them out there, for 10, 15 minutes at a time, because even pets can get cold in this type of weather. And again, limit your travel. We saw the TxDOT cameras earlier. Streets are mostly empty. Let's keep it that way throughout the rest of the weekend. Again, another wave moves in by the afternoon and the evening, and then a bulk of the activity is going to move through later on tonight, and it will gradually clear from west to east through the overnight hours. But again, once it's gone, we are not necessarily done with this situation, because for your Sunday afternoon, look, temperature's still well below freezing, so if it sticks, it's not going to melt. That's the problem. How much ice? And remember, I want to kind of verify something real quick. You're seeing some very large numbers on here. This is going to include both freezing rain and sleet. So you see 0.7 in Temple, 0.8 in Comanche. That doesn't mean it's going to be 0.7 inches of a glaze of freezing rain. That's just freezing rain and sleet combined in together. And the other thing, too, is when I show you these forecast models, it gives you an idea, but these models have resolution gaps. What do I mean by that? There are areas where the data doesn't quite come in and the computer kind of tries to fill it in itself. And so maybe sometimes you get some numbers that are a little outside of the realm of reality. But again, it still gives us that good idea that most of us are going to see a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of freezing rain, potentially add on to that a little bit of sleet. So what do temperatures look like? Well, by the time we get to your Sunday morning, we're in the teens. By the time we get to Sunday afternoon, we're only in the 20s there, middle 20s for your Sunday. And then by the time we get to Monday morning, take a look here, temperatures around 10 degrees. By Monday afternoon, again, middle and upper 20s. I don't have us getting above freezing again until Tuesday afternoon. And even before we get to that, we're going to have to get through single-digit temperatures by Tuesday morning. So with all that being said, it's going to be very cold for the next 3 or 4 days. Again, it's not 2021 levels of length of time here, but it is going to be a few days where we're going to be very, very cold across the area. Wind chill value Sunday morning around 0. So again, I showed you the teens. You factor in the winds, it's going to feel even colder than that. No exposed skin. This is where we start talking about frostbite, where we start talking about hypothermia. So make sure you're covered from head to toe, scarves, gloves, hats, everything if you have to head out the door Monday morning. And the same thing, again, as we head later into the week, here's Monday morning, we're talking about temperatures, wind chill values that are potentially below 0 across the area. So again, if you have to step outside, make sure you are covered from head to toe. Your 7-day forecast, like I said, we don't rise above freezing again, it doesn't look like, until about Tuesday afternoon. So because of that, our weather impact alert includes Monday and the first half of Tuesday. Then we go through the rest of the week here, we'll finally get above freezing. Mornings are still going to be cold, got to point that out. But the afternoons will moderate just a little bit, and then we have another system coming through next Friday into Saturday. Notice for Saturday, I've got us around 50 degrees Saturday afternoon, but we got to get there first. Notice we start off the day at 28. Might have a little system comes through, might bring us a little bit of rain, and that rain could shift into a little bit of a freezing rain mix in that Friday night to Saturday morning time frame. But again, that's 7 days away. I'm not really worried about that. My concern right now continues to be the rest of this weekend. And like you saw on the radar, we are seeing that precipitation trying to move back in right now.